Good morning, Stephen Whiteside here with today's edition of Canadian Stock Market Trends for Thursday, February 6, 2014. In the pre-market this morning, coming up to 7:30 a.m. on the East Coast, stock index futures and commodities are above fair value. Dow futures currently up about 70 points. Now, we do have some European interest rate news coming out in just a few minutes, and that could dramatically affect the futures in the pre-market. Let's start off this morning with a quick executive summary. There's a couple of things we need to go down before the market can go up, and one of them is the VIX for the S&P 500, and it closed higher yesterday, so no sign of a breakdown there. We saw a little selling in the bond market, came down to the upper channel line. If that continues, that could be supportive for higher stock prices. We're also looking for the yen to move lower, and it closed the day higher on Wednesday, so no sign of a change there. Speaking of currencies, the Canadian dollar has been in the channel for the last 3 days, but has not been able to close above the upper channel line. So if we can close above yesterday's high, that would give us a buy signal on Thursday. Looking at the U.S. market, S&P 500 made a lower low and closed lower yesterday, so that's a bearish sign. The first sign that something new is happening here is going to be a daily close above Monday's high. Monday was a huge down day, and so far we haven't been able to reclaim much of those losses. So we're looking at a trading range here between 1781.25 down to 1750. Notice that we're clustering around the 1750 level. If we close below yesterday's low, that certainly would be extremely bearish for the stock market going forward. Looking at the Canadian market, starting with the TSX, we had an update yesterday. Still haven't got to the lower channel line. If we take out this week's low, you can see that we're finding support at the October-November highs at 13,437.50 level. If we take out this week's lows, then I would expect that we're going down to the 13,125 level. Energy stocks traded back into the channel yesterday, saw a little buying in financial services, finding support at 218.75. If we close below this week's low, then we're looking for a move down to 212.50. We've got a new early warning signal for the gold sector. A close below 178.51 would give us a sell signal on Thursday. We've got Barrick back on a sell signal as of Wednesday's close. We saw the industrials trade back into the channel yesterday, as did the Infotech stocks. We've also got materials in the channel, still seeing some weakness in metals and mining. We've got a little buying in small cap stocks yesterday, a little selling in the telecom services sector yesterday, but that might change this morning with Bell announcing earnings. And last up, the Venture Exchange still holding the 940 level. Looking at commodity futures, no change in direction for copper. Little buying yesterday in gold, holding in the channel. Certainly traded above it yesterday, and we're going to see a little buying at the open in gold on Thursday. Silver is back on a buy signal, but still no reason to get excited. Still looking for a breakout of the range that we've been in since early December. Looking at Brent crude, still on a sell signal. North American crude still on a buy signal, no change there. We saw gasoline trade back in the channel yesterday, heating oil, treading water, and a big reversal day for natural gas. We still need to see a close below 475.90 to give us a sell signal on Thursday. Let's move on and take a look at some of the TSX most active, and there's Encana as the volume leader, up sharply 2 days in a row. B2 Gold continued to move higher, while Barrick is now back on a sell signal as of Wednesday's close. We saw BlackBerry move into the channel yesterday, so a close above yesterday's high would give us a new buy signal. Bombardier closed above the upper channel line on Wednesday, so we're back on a buy signal there. No change in direction for Air Canada. Advantage Oil continued to move lower yesterday. Manulife, no change there. No change for Agrium, continued to move lower on Wednesday, while Potash moved higher. Traded up to the upper channel line, so a close above yesterday's high would give us a buy signal on Thursday. Looking at Rogers, now you can see why the telecom sector was down sharply yesterday, as Rogers continues to move lower. Let's finish up this morning, taking a look at a couple of 60-minute charts. Starting with the VIX for the S&P 500, when we're above the flypaper channel, that's bearish for stocks. If we can start breaking down below 17, that would certainly be bullish for the stock market. Yesterday we spent most of our day in the channel, so neutral. We started off with a buy signal, which is negative for stocks, then spent the rest of the day treading water. An hourly close below 1918 would certainly be the first sign that something bullish is happening for the stock market, and given what we're seeing in the futures this morning, I would expect to see that this morning. Now, I'd also expect to see a buy signal for the S&P 500 cash index. An hourly close above 1754.99 would give us a buy signal on Thursday morning. Lots of overhead resistance. You can see the flypaper channel coming down to 1780. You can also see there's a nice cluster there of potential resistance, and if you just follow across the screen here, you can see previous support, which of course will now become resistance on the way back up. Looking at the TSX, it's a brighter picture for the TSX. Still the same obstacles to get over. We are at the bottom of the panic zones. We have a pressure zone forming, so of course we want to look up. Unfortunately, there's a flypaper channel there. There's moving averages. You can see we're projecting up to the moving average cluster here, where we're converging. You've got the 200 and 100 hour moving averages converging, and that's a potential area of resistance. And mathematically speaking, if we look 2 lines up, that takes you up to the 13,671 level, and that's a potential area of resistance for the TSX. The TSX is coming into Thursday already on an intraday buy signal. That would change if we started to see the TSX close below the 13,504 level on an hourly basis, and I look at the hours on the half hour, so I'm looking at 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. Okay, folks, that's all for Thursday morning, and that's all for me for this week. I'll be back on Monday to talk about the U.S. market, and I'll be back on Tuesday to talk about the Canadian market. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon.